Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. This is our class on Aqidah, our Aqidah class, and we have been discussing Bidah or innovations in Islam. And when we speak about innovations in Islam, what are we speaking about, Sister Muna? What does it mean to innovate in Islam, Sister Muna? Can you share with us? What does it mean to innovate in Islam, Sister Muna?
To introduce something or take away something in terms of worship to God.
Exactly. Y'all hear how she explained that? That is the meaning. That's the correct meaning. A lot of Muslims would answer that by saying to add to or take away from the religion. No. If that's the case, then that means that I can't drive a car. I can't use a washing machine. I can't eat with a fork and a knife and a spoon. No. Innovation only applies to actions of worship, the way we worship Allah. Okay, we cannot add to how we cannot add to how Allah commanded us to worship him, nor can we take away from how Allah commanded us to worship him. Okay, it's only actions of worship. And who can give me some examples of actions of worship? Because most Muslims don't know what an act of worship is. What's an act? Give me an example of something that we do that is an act of worship. Okay, Aisha.
Fasting.
Exactly. Fasting is an act of worship. Good job. Norto, give me another example.
Praying.
Exactly. Praying is an action of worship. Good job. AY, give me another example.
Reading the Quran.
Mashallah. Reading the Quran is an action of worship. You guys finally got it. Good job. Meleon.
Seeking forgiveness of your sins to Allah.
Mashallah, seeking forgiveness is an action of worship. Now it's sinking in. Jamila.
Making dhikr.
What does dhikr mean in English?
Not suffocation, but okay.
That's what I'm saying. I tell y'all, don't do that. Don't play the Arabic game and you don't even know what Arabic is, what it means. So what are you doing when you dhikr?
You're giving thanks to Allah.
Okay, so now what does dhikr mean? What does dhikr mean? It means to thank Allah, to remember Allah. That's all it means.
Remember Allah.
Dhikr means to remember. Yeah, I want y'all to use English because y'all don't understand Arabic. And that's why, unfortunately, that's why a lot of Arabic people who are not educated make fun of you. Because you don't know what you be saying. And instead of them educating you, they'll laugh at you, and talk about you. I get sick of hearing Arabs do that. And like I told this one sister that was sitting at a mosque, her and her little two friends laughing because a sister in the audience, it was a lecture, and a sister, an African-American woman in the audience, raised her finger up and her hand up and asked a question. She said, what time do she said, when do we make tahajjud and when do we do qiyam layl and witr? So she said, when I make witr prayer, no, this is what she said. She said, when I pray my witr, somebody told me that I didn't do it right because it should have been tahajjud. And when I did, and I do qiyam layl all the time. These ignorant women, and she looked like, what am I? So I just had to stop the lecture, me. I stopped the lecture. I said, hold it, Imam, I got this. And I said, why don't you three, Dumple, Doodle, and D, explain to her? What is she saying? Witr means odd rakat. Tahajjud means the last part of the night. Qiyam means to stand up. Qiyam el-Layl means to stand in the middle of the night. Why don't y'all tell her to stop speaking in Arabic and just say, when I stood up to pray in the beginning of the night, should I have ended it with an odd rakat? That was the question she was asking. But she was all over the place talking about the last third, the middle third, the beginning, because she didn't know the meaning. And the ignorant women were laughing at her. And it just irked me. So that's why ever since then, I've told my students here, speak in English, because y'all don't know what you're saying. And it does sound ridiculous. You know, just say it. Dhikr is an Arabic word. It is not a God that we worship. Dhikr it means to remember Allah. If I were speaking in French, I'd say, oh God, réfléchissez. Think about. Réfléchissez. Think about. That's all it is. It's just a language. Arabic is not a religion. It is a foreign language like French, like Spanish. So when you got sisters and brothers do hear Arabic terms, do the same thing you would do if you heard a Spanish term. Say, excuse me, what did you say? I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak Arabic. Can you tell me what that word means in English? Can you translate? Tarjum. Tarjum is the Arabic word for translate. Tarjum, tarjum. Tarjum, tarjum. Translate. Okay? So I want y'all to get out of that, because it makes me angry to see people look down on African Americans and make fun of them because they're using Arabic language like it's a religious action of something when it's just a foreign language. Okay? So, what another action of remembrance of Allah, another act of worship is to remember Allah. Good job, Jamila. Muslima, what's another action of remembrance?
Hajj, performing Hajj.
Exactly. Making Hajj is an act of worship. Making Hajj is an act of worship. Good job. What's another action of worship, Precious?
Seeking knowledge of our religion and trying to break the meanings down and implementing them in our lives.
Exactly. When you guys seek knowledge of Islam, when you're learning the religion, this is an action of worship. Teaching the religion, like what I'm doing, being a mudaris. Mudaris is an Arabic word that means teacher. That was one of the questions I got from a sister here. What does mudaris mean? Mudaris means teacher. Teacher. Okay, to teach Islam. This is an action of worship. Good job. Okay, who else got another example of an action of worship? So these are examples of actions of worship. And Islam teaches us whenever we do an action of worship, that means we're worshiping Allah. So it has to be done a certain way. It has to be done the way Allah commanded. Hajj must be performed the way Allah commanded it, step by step. Praying must be done the way Allah commanded, step by step. Calling upon Allah, remembering Allah. These actions must be done step by step the way Allah commanded. Fasting for your Lord must be done the way Allah commanded. Everybody got it? I'm so proud of y'all today because we finally got some correct answers. I'm so proud of y'all. And so the last time we met, We spoke about the act of worship known as performance of Hajj. We talked about how when performing Hajj, it must be performed the way Allah legislated through the example of our Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What happens, guys, if we do not perform the action of worship the way Allah commanded us to do? What happens then? Can anyone answer that question? What happens if I perform an act of worship, but it's not done the way Allah said? What happens then to that action? What happens to that action? Go ahead, Awa.
Allah will not accept your Hajj.
Exactly. Whatever the action is, if it's not done the way Allah commanded us to do it, it's not accepted. You just wasted your time. There's a lot of people who make their prayers every day, but they're just going through a ritual. Allah doesn't accept the prayer, or they may walk away with one part of the prayer accepted, maybe 1/3 of the prayer accepted, 1/4. There's a lot of people who fast, but all they're doing is starving themselves because they didn't do the fast the way Allah commanded. There's a lot of people who make Hajj, but they come back with just wasted money. Okay? Like that DJ Khaled y'all love so much. He done went over there and made Hajj, but what did he do right afterwards? Made a video, a back to the hip hop video. You just wasted a bunch of money, dude. Okay, everything has to be done when it comes to worship the way Allah commanded. That's why it's important to know what the actions of worship are and how to do them correctly, so you don't end up empty-handed or bankrupt on the day of judgment. Everybody got that? Okay, so the last time we met, we talked about Hajj and also celebrating our celebrations. Let's see how well you guys remember. You had one day to think about everything too, because I didn't do my classes yesterday. Gave you a little day to think. Okay, let's see how well you guys do, because I told you I was going to give you a quiz. So you had a whole day to go back and review. Let's see how well you guys can answer these questions on the Hajj and the Eid. Okay, question number 1. Everybody should be able to see my screen. Which of the following is not, I repeat, you are not the father. Every time I say that, it reminds me of that. That's going to be with me to the day I die. Which of the following is not an innovation? Is not an innovation. Is it number 1, making 2 rakats upon entering ihram at the various station? Or is it 2, making intentions out loud to perform Umrah or Hajj and saying something other than Labbaik Allahumma? Or is it number 3, saying Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik in unison, together in a group? Or is it 4, making the prostration of thankfulness after you leave the mosque area for Hajj? Or is it number 5, doing the tawaf around the Kaaba? Which of those things is not an innovation? Hands up. Which one is not an innovation? Anybody know? Any volunteers? I'm leaving it on the screen so y'all can see. Which is not an innovation? When you guys ready, put your hand up. One of these things. Okay, Sakina said number 5 is not an innovation. You are not the father. Number 5, doing tawaf around the Kaaba is not an innovation. What do you guys think? Do y'all agree with her answer or not? Anybody disagree? MashaAllah, this answer is correct. Making tawaf is the only thing listed here that is not an innovation. All the rest of this stuff is. We don't do no prostrations of thankfulness after making Hajj. Okay? The intention should not be recited in unison. And we don't make the intention for Hajj or Umrah until you meet you get to the place where you're supposed to be for that. So good job. Okay, let's look at the next question. Which of the following is not an innovation? Is it number one, raising the hands as if you are in prayer when you see the Kaaba or walk past the black stone? Or is it touching the wall of the Kaaba seeking blessings and making the walking between Safa and Marwa at other times other than Hajj or Umrah? Or is it three, making more than one Umrah in the same trip? Or is it the last answer? All of these things are innovation. What do you guys think? Go ahead, Aisha.
All of them is innovation.
Exactly. All these things listed here, guys, are innovations. Okay, you don't raise your hands and give takbir because you see the Kaaba. I mean, you're going to see a lot of people doing that, but that is not from the Sunnah. You will even see a lot of people falling down to their knees, prostrating when they see the Kaaba or the black stone. This is not part of the Hajj. This is an innovation. We don't worship the Kaaba. We don't worship the black stone. Okay? A lot of Muslims think that we're praying to that box. We're not praying to that box. Okay, what about this question? Let's look at the next question. True or false? True or false? Visiting the Prophet's home during Hajj is not an innovation. Is that statement true or false? Visiting the place where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born is when you make Hajj is not an innovation. Making it part of the Hajj to go visit where he was born, his home and all that. This is not an innovation. True or false? What do you guys think? I can see you guys thinking. Sister Mina, go ahead.
It is an innovation.
Exactly, guys. This is an innovation. Now, when we make Hajj, part of the ritual does not include going to the Prophet Muhammad's home or any of that, because again, we don't worship no one but Allah. We don't even worship the Prophet Muhammad. That's why we don't do birthdays. Just like we don't celebrate the Prophet's birthday or anybody else's, because celebrating a person's birth, celebrating a person's death, celebrating a place where a person grew up at. These are all actions of worship. You're saying that that person was greater than a human, that person was equal to or on the same level of Allah. Astaghfirullah. No, we don't even worship our prophet. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we ain't supposed to celebrate his birthday, how do y'all justify celebrating your own? Who are you? You ain't nobody. You're ignorant. Okay. Let's look at the next question. Visiting the surrounding masjid of Mecca or the mountain where the Prophet and Abu Bakr hid in the cave as part of your Hajj, as part of the ritual. This is not an innovation. Is this statement true or false? To go to the surrounding masjids of Mecca as part of my Hajj ritual, and to also go to the cave where him and Abu Bakr hid as a part of the Hajj ritual. This is not an innovation. True or false? Go ahead, Muslima.
It's true.
Okay, she said that this is true, that it's not an innovation. Does everybody agree with her? Go ahead,
No.
Muna.
This is false. This is an innovation.
Exactly. This is an innovation, guys. Again, we don't worship the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What do you know? That's not part of the ritual. The Hajj is an action of worship. It must be performed the way Allah commanded. Allah did not put in the steps for making Hajj to go to the Prophet's house or to go to any of the other mosques in Mecca. Now, if you're on a Hajj trip, and that's included as part of the package, that after you guys make Hajj, after you have completed your Hajj and its rituals, they're going to take you sightseeing. That's okay, because you completed your Hajj. You're not making it a ritual of the Hajj. But to make these actions a ritual of the Hajj, this is haram. This is bidah. Do you guys understand? But after you and your group have finished your Hajj, if they want to take you on a tour of Saudi Arabia, they said, okay, let's take you on a tour and see how Mecca looks and see the places where people used to live. That's different. You can do that because that's not Hajj. That's not making Hajj. That's called sightseeing. I'm on a tour now. We're done. We completed our prayer, our Hajj prayer and ritual. We're going to go and sightsee and buy souvenirs. You can do that. That's the difference. But a lot of people make it part of the ritual. That's where the innovation comes in. Okay? Let's look at the next question. Which of the following is not an innovation? Fighting over touching the station of Ibrahim, or fighting over touching the black stone, or going to the top of the mountain of Arafat, or the imam giving 2 khutbahs on the day of Arafat instead of 1, or watching the people throw the rocks at the Jamrat. Are those things, which of those things is an innovation, or are none of them innovations, or are all of them innovations? What do you guys think? Are all of those things innovations? Are none of those things innovations, or is there something in particular that is and the rest is not? Go ahead, Jamila.
They're all innovations.
Mashallah, that's correct, guys. All of these things are innovations. And none of this is included in the Hajj. We don't do this. You're not supposed to fight over the station of Abraham. You're not supposed to fight over touching the stone. Who cares whether you get to the top of Mount Rahma or not? Okay? Giving 2 khutbahs on the day of Arafat, watching other stone, that stuff is all innovation. Okay, let's look at the next question. True or false? Making various takbirah other than the one that the Prophet and his companions made is not an innovation. Is that statement true or false? Is that statement true or false? And hold on for a second. Hello? Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to give you, wait a minute, hold on, let me put this. All right, Latifa. Where we at? Okay. Oh, do we get hands up on here? Making various takbirs that differ from what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions said. This is not innovation. True or false? Go ahead, Khadija.
This is innovation.
Yes, mashallah, baby. Exactly. This is innovation. We have to make the takbir because remember, as Sister Jamila told us before class, whenever we remember Allah, takbira is an Arabic word that refers to words of remembrance of Allah. Whenever we use words of remembrance of Allah that relate to a specific incident or specific event, they have to be done a specific specifically how the prophet taught us. He taught us what to say. The companions used to say, the labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. That's what the companions said. That's what we say. We don't sit there and say, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, and a handshake. We don't do that. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, and put a ring on it, Allah. Nope. It has to be exactly how they said. Everybody understand? Good job. All right, next question. Which of these things are not innovations? Making 2 rakats when you reach the place of worship for on the day of the Eid. Making 2 rakats when you reach the place of worship on the day of the Eid prayer. Is that an innovation, or is performing the Eid prayer inside the mosque without a necessity an innovation? Which of these are not innovations? Anybody?
Number 2.
Okay,
It's not an
Jamila
innovation
said
performing
number
it.
2. Anyone else?
I say both of them are innovation.
Exactly. The correct answer is both of these are innovations. And we talked about that, guys. I made it tricky. I wanted to see if you guys caught on to it. We talked about this the last time we met. I know there's a lot of mosques in America that do their Eid prayers. I used to broadcast them. Y'all know that. How many years did I broadcast the Eid prayer live from a mosque here on Sunnahfollowers? Y'all remember that? That's why I took all them videos down. Y'all remember for years, and I do mean years, and I do mean years, the Eid prayer would be held at a certain mosque, and I would broadcast it. This is an innovation. The Eid prayer is not supposed to be held at a mosque, inside a mosque. It is from the Sunnah to hold it outside the mosque, unless you have no choice because of the weather. But this one mosque, I broadcast their Eid prayers every year, and they never held it outside. And they were from a place that didn't snow. They didn't have to experience winter like we do here where we live in the north. Okay? This is an innovation. Another reason why I was told and didn't listen to stop putting people. That's another reason why I don't put people on my website anymore. A lot of these people are just, that people have made, that got famous, were just innovators who didn't know this religion. Okay? So the Eid prayer is supposed to be held outside the mosque, someplace outside. And what most communities, and I do have to admit, like here where I live, I haven't been to this mosque, but there's a mosque less than 5 minutes from me. I could walk to it. It's a big, beautiful mosque. And one day I'm going to go to it. I'm going to get Latifah to get over here because, you know, I got anxiety. I don't go nowhere alone. Nowadays, you can't. But one day I'm going to have Latifah come over here and go with me to mosque. That mosque is beautiful. And one thing about them, they have a lot of land. And all their, in fact, I might go this year. All their Eid prayers are held outside. Last year, I couldn't go to their Eid prayer because of my knee surgery. But I couldn't, you know. But this year, maybe I can go to their just for because they do hold it outside. You know, they hold it outside. If you guys look at Sheikh Atlee, when Sheikh Atlee used to be here all the time on the website, I broadcasted all his Eid prayers. Y'all remember his Eid prayers were always held outside the mosque because he's got that area outside the mosque. You know, but then after he left here, I was broadcasting another person's Eid prayer every year, and it was never outside. It was always in the mosque. And that's a Bidah. Okay? A lot of Muslims don't understand that. Okay, so these were questions that helped to summarize what we discussed when we met 2 days ago. For those of you who have not yet purchased the book, all of this can be found. This is the book that we are using for this class. It's entitled Bidah and Common Mistakes by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee. And go to Atlee Online, atleeonline.com, and pick up your copy of this book. The book is only what, $5? Many of you might have it already for free because Sheikh Atlee's been giving this book out for years since he wrote it. Okay. And again, for those of you, because Sheikh Atlee knows I am teaching this, for those Muslims that live in Canada and United Kingdom and Africa, you can order the ebook from that website. He has the ebook up there for y'all too. Okay. And that's just $2 for the ebook. This, if you can get the book in America, because this should be a part of everybody's library. Your children need to know the innovations of prayer, the innovations of wudu, the innovations of Hajj, the innovations of the mosque and all of that. Okay, so we completed the chapter on Eid and Hajj. I'm going to tell y'all now what we're going to be doing tomorrow, so y'all can read ahead. Tomorrow, we're going to cover the next couple of chapters on and this is a good one, innovations in regards to the greeting and also innovations in marriage. And that starts on page 35. Let me take a look at it. For those of you who got the book, you can look. We're all, page 35. Innovations in regards to mistakes made when it comes to greeting each other. Yeah, greeting. Even when we give salams. Salams is an action of worship. How many of you knew that? How many of you knew that giving the greeting of Assalamu alaikum is an act of worship? Because again, this is a blessing. Our greeting of Assalamu alaikum is a supplication that we're praying for each other. So we're going to speak about the innovations in that. And then the next chapter after, on page 38, common innovations when it comes to marriage. So we're going to start on page 35. Tomorrow's lesson will cover pages 35 through 40 in the book. Y'all got it? Pages 35 through 40 in the ebook too. So read ahead, and I'll have the PowerPoint ready for tomorrow to explain everything that he has here. The innovations when it comes to our greeting and in regards to marriage. So I'm going to stop right here. And I want to also remind everyone this is Friday. I did broadcast the khutbah. I did 2 khutbahs today. I broadcast Sheikh Atlee's khutbah and I broadcast Dr. Jamali's. Dr. Jamali had a wonderful khutbah today. And I did upload it to YouTube and I did post it out. Please listen to Dr. Jamali's khutbah. It was wonderful. His English was good. He didn't use a lot of Arabic. Okay. So I think he got yours messages. Okay, because his khutbah was good. And so those both have been uploaded. And we have one more class tonight. My hadith class will be at 11. Isn't it right? And just to let you guys know, tomorrow we have a big schedule. The weekends here are very full at Sunnahfollowers. Tomorrow we have the Tajweed class with Dr. Asim. Dr. Asim's going to do the Quran the Tafsir class. And what surah are we on in that class? Anybody remember? Anybody? What are we doing in Dr. Asim, Fresno?
I guess the one before Mayun, the one before it, I guess. I don't know.
Al-Kawthar and Al-Ma'un.
Okay, that's what I thought. We're doing Ma'un. The phrase we got to work on Ma'un because he moved us up. We're doing Ma'un. There's a couple of people that still have to do Kawthar. Y'all remember? Isn't that what he said, Meleon? A few people are.
Yeah, he said
Yeah, go ahead.
He's doing Al-Kawthar, and then he said he's doing like 3 verses of Al-Ma'un. because it's a long surah.
Oh yeah, the first 3 verses, Fresno. Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
I'll put a memo out too, guys, because I forgot. I got a lot going on. I can't remember anything. Leon, don't leave this website. I'm gonna need you to remind me that again. Okay, the first 3 verses of El Maun. And
Yep.
he did, and then El Kauthar. So that's what we're working on for his class tomorrow. Then you have my class. I'm gonna have this bit of thing for y'all. And also tomorrow is the resurrection. Right? Yeah, we're speaking about the signs of the last hour. We talked about the Antichrist last time. I'm going to give y'all a quiz for that class. You're going to have a quiz on what we discussed about the Mahdi and the Antichrist. And I think we go into Jesus tomorrow, right? So that's going to be tomorrow. And so a lot of lectures tomorrow, a lot of classes. So anyway, and also, guys, before I end for tonight, the beginning of the month. Lord, guys, I'm telling y'all, we got to get the donations going for this website. And I am in contact with IRS. We're trying to get our nonprofit back. Let's hope that this time everything was correct, because I sent everything in, and even the IRS don't know why they kicked it back to me. They said you should have been approved again for you, because all I did was miss a couple of years of mailing the card in. Well, maybe a couple, more than a couple. But anyway, I should have got it back. So I had to resubmit. So hopefully we'll have our tax exempt back soon. But we need donations to cover the website expenses, guys. Look at all the blessings you guys are getting. Look at all the knowledge. This is the one place you can come to that's open 24 hours, where you can ask questions about Islam and get real qualified people and knowledge to answer. If I can't answer, I have no problem calling Jamali or Sheikh Morsi. You even got Abu Sama answering your questions here. So this is and Sheikh Atli. So subhanallah, support this dawah effort. The classes I'm teaching are all taken and based on Quran and authentic hadith. There is no scholar of Islam that's going to refute this stuff here, because these hadiths are authentic. Look at the blessings you guys are getting for sharing, and contributing to keep Islam in its truthfulness alive for Muslims around the world. I always say the best donations any of you can make is whatever money you have left over after you take care of your family and the ties of kinship. Whatever you got left over, split it in half. Half of it, no Palestine, they get millions of dollars of help from different countries. No Syria, nope. Half go to your local masjid, because that masjid's job is to help the needy Muslims in its community. It's the worst thing to go to the mosque and say, oh, my son was killed and I ain't got no burial insurance. That's what a lot of people are faced with. You go, your son is killed. He was Muslim. You go to the mosque and say that I don't have any burial insurance, and they tell you that they can't help you because they sent their money to Syria and Palestine and Afghanistan. That money is for the Muslims in your city. So for those who don't have burial insurance, the mosque can pay for it. You can dish out that $6,000 and say, here, that I got you. So half your charity, split it in half. One half to the mosque, your masjid. The other half to Sunnahfollowers, because that way you're giving the Muslims around the world the best gift. And that's the gift of getting through the questioning of the grave. Knowledge is power. This is the best gift of all. How to get through the grave. Hello? Muslims being popped every day. Or is it capped? People getting capped every day. They dropping like flies, dying. No burial insurance. Y'all better get it together, peoples. Y'all got that? Educate the Muslims on how cremation is haram. And even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions to have a life grant. Life grant is burial insurance. He said every Muslim should have a life grant so you can be buried. He said because we don't cremate. Cremation is haram. We need a life grant. Life grant. Google the meaning. It means burial insurance. They had burial insurance even in the Prophet's day. Yes, they did. So this stuff about insurance being haram, what type of insurance you talking about? Y'all got that? Get it together, people. So knowledge is power. Half your money go to your local mosque. So when somebody get capped or they drop like a fly and you didn't know that your mosque can give you the money. And then the other half, so you don't make that mistake again, because they got you supporting Sunnah followers where you got people who are qualified to teach and answer your questions where you should have known better. Hello, support this website, guys. Go to www.sunnahfollowers.net. Click on our tab that says make a donation. And for those, I got